Well, hello there. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Today is Saturday in my world, and so we're going to be working with Ariel, and you could even work with Cassiel on Saturday because they both rule the same day. It depends on your birth angel sometimes who you choose to use. They are different energies, but they do share the same day. So if you know your moon sign, what day of the what sign of the zodiac your moon was in at the moment of your birth, that's your primary birth angel. So if you have a Capricorn as your moon sign, then Cassiel is your birth angel, and you might want to work with him more frequently on Saturday. It doesn't matter though. Anybody can work with any angel. My moon is in Aquarius, and that's ruled by Ariel in our system. So that's why I tend to work with Ariel a little bit more frequently on Saturday. But sometimes we do work with Cassiel as well. So I'll put up a list of all the birth angels, and we'll talk about them in a separate video. Alright, so today we're going to work on a talisman to overcome fear, which is so helpful. Because fear is the primary tool used by our ego mind to keep us stuck and to keep us from fulfilling our true desires and our functions here in this world. Why does the ego do this? Because we put it there to do it. We created the ego to do that because we need to prove to ourselves that we are really separate from God. That's what we programmed the ego with, was the task to prove that we are separate from God. So now what we're trying to do, that was, if you want to use biblical terminology, that was our fall from grace in the Garden of Eden. So now we're trying to go back up through the tree to reconnect with God. All right, so if we can overcome our fear, see how I do that with a little opening on the top? If we can overcome fears, that is our primary methodology for reconnecting with our true self and our true place in the world. All right, so as always, we start with signing our names, and I'm going to sign everybody's name here, all viewers. And let's see. Well, let's do peace. Where there is love, there can be no fear. So I'm going to put love. And I'm also going to put triumph. Now, you can use whatever words suit you. See how I kind of put this a little bit high here? We don't want the words to actually touch the border of the circle. So I'm going to make sure when I close this circle to trap these in that I don't touch it. All right, and then I'm using the symbol for Ariel, which is Uranus, at these little corners on the talisman here. Again, these words that we're using just represent the answer to our prayer or to our spell, the out picturing of that which we desire. So we are planting those seeds of peace, love, and triumph within our deep mind. All right, and again, I waited until after I started this to do the cleansing of this base. Luckily, this is the most forgiving system of magic you will ever find, and it is as effective as any other system. I wouldn't say it's more effective than any other system, but it's as effective as any other system I've ever encountered. Okay, so we're gonna... Ooh, there we go. Usually I do one spritz, but I couldn't get it to spritz because it's almost gone. This is my Guerlain Cologne Imperial, and it's such a lovely fragrance. Oh, I put the wrong cap on here. It's a little early for me. I'm not awake yet. Okay, and I'm gonna put one spritz of Van on here. And I'm going to put 2 spritzes of Mimosa, which is the flower for Ariel. I'm going to use this blue holder just because the electric blue is Ariel's color. Mostly Ariel's color is rainbow. So if I had a rainbow candle or a rainbow holder, I could use that as well. All right, so today we're using Psalm number 11 to overcome fear. We're going to triumph, be victorious over our fears. So the first thing we do is read this nice psalm through once, and then we'll go through it and actually plant those seeds as we open up and unlock the secrets of the psalm. And that's how we read it more magically. I should be in the shot. I'm sorry that I forget to do that. All right, Psalm 11, to the chief musician, a psalm of David. In the Lord put I my trust. How say ye to my soul, flee as a bird to your mountain? For lo, the wicked bend their bow, they make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may privily shoot at the upright in heart. If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? The Lord is in his holy temple, the Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold, his eyelids try the children of men. The Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence his soul hateth. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire, and brimstone, and an horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. For the righteous Lord loveth righteousness, his countenance doth behold the upright. All right. So let's unlock this psalm. We're going to go through it line by line and see what we can find so that we can gain all the benefits of this beautiful psalm. Okay. In the Lord I put my trust. Okay, we know about this, those of us who've been working this psalm, because this is repeated again and again and again, that we put our trust in not people, not in circumstances, not in money, not in our bodies, not in whatever out there, not in books, not even in the Bible, not even in the Psalms, not even in candles, not even in magic, not even in the craft. We don't put our trust in any manifest thing. We put our trust in the cause. The cause. Now, we want the prime cause, which is the Godhead. And if you look at the tree of life, that is Keter, that very top Sephirah. So we are putting our trust in the Lord. And if you want to know what the Lord is, you have to just ask yourself, what is it that keeps my heart beating? Right? What is the life source? What is the life principle? What are some of the qualities of God? And then you list those. What do you trust? You trust in perfect, infinite intelligence. You trust in infinite life. You trust in perfect love. You trust in perfect principle, the principles of life. You trust in divine truth, the actual truth. You divine knowledge. The source of all power, the one and only power, wherever the only place to look for power. Those sorts of things is what we think about when we say, I put my trust in the Lord. Because otherwise, just to say, in the Lord I put my trust without even considering it is meaningless. But if you understand what you're putting your trust in, it makes a lot more sense and it's easy to actually do it. Okay, so in the Lord put I my trust. And then we say, how say ye to my soul, fly as a bird to your mountain? Well, he's not asking God this. He's not asking the Lord this. He's asking probably people who are saying, oh my gosh, it's really scary here. You better run away. Right? But let's look at this magically. These are parts of ourselves that are telling us, oh, you better run away. You better run away. Now, sometimes it's appropriate to run away. Sometimes it's appropriate to flee a situation. And God will let us know that that's the truth by divine revelation. We ask ourselves, infinite intelligence, please guide me. And then wherever we get the most sense of peace and certainty, that's where we go. So sometimes it might be appropriate to flee from a situation, but in this case, he's saying no. Why would I do that? Why am I just going to run away from this? For lo, the wicked bend their bow. They make ready their arrow upon the string, that they might privily shoot at the upright in heart. So we are, when we're faced with perceived danger, the first thing that we might consider doing is retreating and running away. But in this particular psalm, we're reconsidering, wait a minute, if I go to God first, rather than trusting fight or flight, if I go to God with this situation, then what? Because the wicked bending their bow and ready to make their arrow upon their string, a string that may privily, mean in privacy, shoot at the upright in heart. Yeah, there are people in the world that will do that, but we're not talking about that necessarily. I mean, sometimes they will be a manifestation, but even if they are, we're talking about those parts of ourselves that are always lying in wait to shoot at us, to destroy us, to trip us up, to sabotage everything that we're working for, and it happens out of the blue. They shoot at us privily. So just running away from this tendency is not going to do anything but give it more power. It says, if the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? Now, the righteous means the part of us that is connected to God, the right thinking, the right acting, all of the things that are in line with the power of the universe, not the parts of us that are at odds with that. Okay, so the foundations. If we don't have a strong foundation, what can we do? So if we're just running away anytime something gets scary to us and giving all of our power over to those dark fears within ourselves that seem to just shoot at us out of nowhere, then what are we supposed to do? We have no foundation. We have nothing to stand on. And it says, the Lord in his holy temple, the Lord's throne is in heaven. So he's telling us first that regardless of what we think is going on with the wicked, with all of that is coming out of the dark to destroy us and scaring us, and loosing our foundation, but the Lord is still in the throne. The Lord is still in his temple, so we know where to look, because that's where we're putting our trust, not in all of this, not even if because we know that our circumstances are an outpicturing of our consciousness, of our deep mind. So even though sometimes these things are manifesting, all these wicked things are manifesting in our life. But if we remember, wait a minute, that's not where the Lord is. That's not where the Lord is. That's where our little ego mind is. That's where our own awful belief systems that we haven't even confronted yet, because we keep running away from them. So if we keep running away from them and destroy our foundation, we are forgetting where our trust should be, and that's in the Lord. So the Lord is in his holy temple, never left it. The Lord is in heaven on his throne, never left it, but we left. That's what that's saying. So his eyes behold, he can see everything, knows everything, omniscience, right? His eyelids try the children of men. Aha. So the eyelids, that's the covering of the eye, are trying the children of men. Now, there's a difference between being afraid of the darkness of our souls, the darkness within our minds, the deep minds, all of those demonic thought forms that we have conjured and then set loose upon our lives to come back as evil situations. There's a difference between being afraid of that and wanting to run away from that, and the part of God which is actually strengthening us. Sometimes when God strengthens us, that just means that he's putting a little bit more weight on our barbell to make us stronger and stronger and stronger. That kind of trying is what we want. This kind of thing is not. This is abuse. All of these dark thoughts that we're trying to run away from is a self-abuse. But the Lord, the higher part, the part of the life principle that is connected to us is always trying us. The Lord trieth the righteous, meaning always strengthening us, building us up, making us stronger and better people. When you go to the gym, it's not my favorite part of the day. Working out is definitely not what I want to do, but I know I need to do it because I get stronger and I feel so much better afterwards, and I know it's healthy. That's a different kind of pain than something that like a broken bone or you know a torn tendon or something like that. Those are injurious. So we have to understand the difference between the pain that is building a stronger us and the pain that is the abusive part of us. And the abusive part of us we are always wanting to run away from. But the other part of the part that tries us in a good way, we want to focus on. So if we focus on that, then we won't need to run away. We won't need to run away from those dark parts of ourselves. We can look at them and look at those things square in the face, because you know what happens when you look at what you fear. It turns into a little puppy. I mean, it can't stand up against the light of truth. So that everything that we're trying to run away from within ourselves, and even situations in the world, which are nothing more than a projection of this horrible fear that we carry around with us, when we look at it square in the face, it can't do anything to us. So we want to turn and face our fears. But we want to face our fears because we trust in the Lord, meaning we trust in our own higher self. We trust in our own connection with the life principle. So the Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hateth. So of course, God doesn't hate, but this is a poetic way of saying the same thing that the Psalms say over and over and over again. It's okay. Wicked and violence and all of that is nothing to God, because when God shines light, then the darkness disappears. This particular form of darkness, these particular forms of darkness which we are afraid of, will disappear as soon as God shines his light. So that looks as though he hateth, that God's soul hateth the wicked. All right. The Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hateth. So God doesn't hate anybody. God doesn't even hate those thought forms within you, which is what this represents to us. But it seems as though God hates it because it destroys it. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire, and brimstone, and horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. Okay, now, again, this can be a small curse upon your enemies in the physical world, but that's not what we are intending it to be in this particular day. We are looking at overcoming inward fears. Because remember, whatever you're so afraid of that you bury deep within your consciousness, whatever you bury seeks expression in the physical world. So if you're having fearful circumstances, chances are that you have been harboring fearful thoughts. It's the chicken or the egg, but we posit that if you take care of these fearful thoughts, that the fearful circumstances stop happening. Give it a try and see if we're not right. Okay. So, upon the wicked, God's going to rain snares, fire, and brimstone, and a horrible tempest. Wonderful. All that means is that from the point of view of darkness, light is really scary, right? Not from our point of view, but from its point of view, right? So if we are observing our fears and how they react to God, it's as if they're being tortured, but they're not, because they're not real. Darkness is not a real thing. Do not feel sorry for your fears. Do not feel sorry for those demons of your own creation within you, because they are being destroyed. They're nothing. It's nothing to worry about. And sometimes in the midst of the cleansing, you will forget that you are not those fears. And so if you are self-identifying with a lot of these fears and that you're hanging on to, as they get released, it can feel a little bit scary, because you're actually having to face them, and you're having to, it almost feels like a battle, but it's not. There's nothing to fight against. It's just darkness. So if you let God take the reins, and all you have to do is look at the things that you're afraid of and call upon God, then He's going to rain the snares, fire, and brimstone down on those, and the horrible tempest down on all of those fears, and this shall be the portion of their cup, meaning this is their inheritance. Evil is destroyed by its own evil, basically. Now, if you have evil people in your life that are doing things to you, by working on yourself in this way, just as we do in the cursing psalms, this isn't technically a cursing psalm, if you do have people that are being very, very evil to you, which we know they exist, by working on yourself in this manner, the part of you that's allowing them in, attracting them, and giving them sanctuary is gone. And you will notice that it seems as though their own evil is rebounded on them, usually in an expanded form. But that's not our goal. That's just a little added Benny. Just a little parting gift, right? We're working on ourselves. It's not our concern what happens to those people, because we know that as we work on ourselves, that we are not any longer going to be plagued by those sorts of things. Okay. For the righteous Lord loveth righteousness. His countenance doth behold the upright. Okay, the countenance is His face. The face of God means that how we can recognize God. We can recognize God by His qualities. And we started listing those. You should list all the qualities of God over and over again for yourself. And again, God does not mean a man. God does not mean a person in the sky. We're talking about the Godhead, which is God and Goddess. Okay, so let's just be intelligent here. For the righteous Lord loveth righteousness, meaning good loves good. Because there is no principle of evil. There's only the principle of good. So evil exists only as a shadow, and only because we have given it audience. So if we can observe the evil without becoming all caught up in it. You can look at evil circumstances in the world to heal them, and to not be controlled by them, but we don't dwell on them. So when you're looking at the things that you're afraid of in your life, you're doing that for the purpose of releasing them, but you're not dwelling on them. You're not encouraging them. So the righteous Lord loveth righteousness. Good loves good. And His countenance, all the qualities of God, beholds the upright, meaning you. So you're upright by taking charge, by saying, wait a minute, I'm just going to not flee. I'm not going to run away from the things I'm afraid of anymore. I'm not going to stick my head in the sand. I'm going to look at them square in the face, and I know that God is with me and that they will just disappear as a result of it. I might notice a little bit of snares, fire and brimstone, and a horrible tempest that's happening to them while they're going through it, but I am not going to identify with them. So none of that touches me. All I notice is that I feel so much better, because all of those fears are now leaving me, because I have 100% victory over them. Make sense? So let's get those fears acknowledged. Let's just turn our attention to God and say, look, with me and God, we're going to go and look at those fears, and we're going to just take care of them so that they're not running me anymore. And you will notice miracles and wonders manifest in your life as a result of that. I adore you, and I'm super happy that we're spending time together, and I can't wait to spend more time together with you very soon. And until then, blessed be.